Sharon, it's all yours.
So excited. Shalom, shalom everybody. Sharon Joy here from Marina Del Rey, California, National Campaign Director. And I'm so delighted to welcome you all to this very exciting event. And a very special welcome to those of you who are first-timers to the Jewish National Fund family. We see a lot of new faces, a lot of new people, and we're excited to have you aboard. So as we all navigate through our new realities, our new normal, whatever that means, whether we're together or whether we're apart, there are a few constants in our lives. The sun rises every morning, the sun sets every evening, and Jewish National Fund enhances the lives of our brothers and sisters in Israel every single day. And we're all in this together. Another constant, which brings us all so much comfort, is every Friday, those of us on Facebook are blessed to get a Shabbat Shalom from our First Lady with her candlesticks, with her Jewish National Fund blue box, and her challahs that we can almost taste through her amazing pictures. So here we are today together to learn how to make a challah from our First Lady. And before I turn it over to them, just a reminder, you are all muted, but there will be time for Q&A. So once this is over, for those of you who choose, please stay on the line and we'll be delighted to moderate a question and answer for them as well. And we will be posting the full recipe on Facebook. So you don't have the full recipe now, but we're going to post it for you. So from the self-proclaimed, just a simple girl from Brooklyn, as she likes to say, to Jewish National Fund, United States First Lady, I give you Lauren Lizerbram and our JNF President, Dr. Saul Lizerbram. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sharon. So I'm going to leave this to Lauren. Believe me, you don't want me in the kitchen. Besides, I have to go to another part of the kitchen to make some gefilte fish. So I'll be jumping out now, and Lauren's going to take over.
Okay. Welcome to our home. I am so honored you asked me to do this. Can't imagine. I am not a professional baker. I have never taken a bread making class in my life. And this is not about perfection. It is about the process and the intent to create something wonderful. Challah, we know, is a bread, but we elevated in Judaism to something very simple and very different. It even has its own blessing, and we don't eat until we eat the challah. So about 10 years ago, I met somebody, and she told me that she makes challah. And I must have been living under a rock. I never knew anybody that made challah except Saul's Bubby. And I thought about it. I went home and I picked out a cookbook. I have many, many Jewish cookbooks. And I looked at the recipe and I was so intimidated. Yeast and braiding. I didn't know the first thing about that, but I tried it. The house smelled outstanding and it tasted terrific. And I was hooked. And since then, I've been making this challah recipe, the same recipe, since then. So this recipe makes 2 huge challahs, way too big for us, and 3 braided challah. And I'm going to make 4 challahs from the same recipe. Challahs freeze amazing. They'll freeze for up to a month. I'll show you how I wrap them. And let's get started. Also, I have some extra equipment here that I use. I'll probably won't use some of this week right now, but I just want to show you pastry brush, a kitchen scale, a scraper, and 2 cookie sheets, grates, so you can put your challahs on there. Okay, so I'm going to move everything away. Okay, so we're going to get started. This demo will be recorded so that you can view it later. Like most cooking shows, I will be using some pre-prepared stages since we'll be spending about 30 minutes with this, and it actually takes a few hours. So let's get started on the sponge that has to bloom. So we're going to add 2 tablespoons of active dry yeast. Sorry, but I have to get the warm water. 1.5 cups of warm water. Has to be as warm as you would bathe a baby, about 100 degrees. Going to add that in. And a pinch of sugar. Okay, we're going to mix this up and let it sit for about 5 minutes just here on the counter. While blooming for 5 minutes, Saul has a few words to say, so I'm going to call him in.
We have to share a mic. We only have one wireless mic in this house. Can you believe that? So I really wanted to just tell you that obviously we're experiencing unusual times, but JNF is here for you. We are committed to keeping our JNF family engaged, connected, and inspired. We have a lot to talk about. We have social media pages. We have webinars, also known as Zooms, learning opportunities. Check out our schedule on the website, jnf.org/on-demand. We have a mitzvah marketplace where you can shop for Israeli goods online. Go to jnf.org. This will help local Israeli artisans and businesses that are dramatically impacted by the quarantine. Listen to JNF Israelcast, great interviews with the JNF host, Stephen Shalowitz. Go to jnf.org/Israelcast. Like us and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you need something, reach out to your local JNF professionals. So let me tell you of 2 stories about JNF. As the virus began to spread in Israel about 2 weeks ago, JNF decided to arrange for the 250 Alexander Muss High School in Israel students to come home. Well, it wasn't easy. Only a few seats were available on commercial airlines. So within 24 hours, JNF chartered a Dreamliner from El Al at the cost of $500,000 to bring every student home safely. By the way, we had an option to lease an off-brand charter, but for safety and security reasons, we went with the more expensive option, El Al. Just think of the logistics, picking up each student, packing them, transporting them to Ben Gurion Airport, hiring flight attendants who, by the way, sacrificed their own schedules because upon return to Israel, they knew they would be quarantined for 2 weeks. Then we had JNF staff at JFK at 4:30 in the morning to meet every student and assist those that were taking transfer flights, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Also, oh, by the way, to wire the money from the bank in Israel, the only way it could be done is to wire it on Shabbat. And the bank said that was never done before, but they did it. That's why Ron Werner calls this Entebbe 2. Thanks to all the staff in Israel and the US and all the lay leaders that worked on that unbelievable project. That's your JNF. And there are more stories. A college student in the Northeast who lives on the West Coast, she had to evacuate her dorm in 24 hours. She had to pack up all of her belongings and store them. A local JNF professional happened to call her to see if she needed any assistance. The professional helped her pack, then stored all of her belongings in the garage of her house. That's your JNF. If you need any of those websites again that I read off, you can email me at president@jnf.org. Also, don't forget our national conference in Israel in October 2020. Please register now. Well, I think the blooming is probably done, and Lauren can come back in and continue because the last thing that you need is for me to be here, but I'll be back in time to eat the challah. So here's Lauren.
I need that song.
Oh, yeah, we have only one microphone.
Sharing. Thank you. Okay, so looks like our blooming has happened. So now we're going to add 2 cups of the bread flour. There's 8 cups here. We're going to give it a mix. Smells like yeast, which it is. Okay, mix it in. My hands things, my hands are very clean. Okay, and we are going to cover it with plastic wrap. And it's going to sit on your counter for 60 minutes. I would put a towel under since these counters tend to be a little cold. So it sits on the counter, just going to stick it here. Okay? Voila! Here we go. 60 minutes. Have it ready to go. Next step. Okay, we're going to stir it down. This is what it looks like. I hope you can see. It's bubbly. We're going to stir it down, and we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. We're going to start with another ½ a cup of warm water. Same temperature. 3/4 of a cup of sugar. 3½ spoons salt. I use kosher salt. ½ a teaspoon of vanilla. Whoa. Three eggs plus 1 yolk. And ½ a cup of oil, vegetable. I use vegetable oil, but you can, and the egg yolks have to be room temperature. I use vegetable oil, but you can use olive oil if you like. That's fine. Okay, so we have all the ingredients in, and we're going to add 5 cups of flour to this. This is the bread flour, of course. Yikes, sorry. Very hands-on. It's about 5 cups. Okay, have to use some elbow grease. I probably use bowl, but for demonstration purposes, I'm using it. Mix it together. It looks really messy, and not very nice. Okay, we're going to pretend it's all mixed. Mix, mix, mix. Incorporate everything. Okay, we'll pretend it's all mixed. Okay. Now we're going to cover it with a damp towel. And it's going to rest on your counter for 20 minutes. Do its thing. And I'm going to put it to the side. It's going to rest for 20 minutes. Let's get rid of this. Just wipe it. Okay. Okay, so 20 minutes have passed, and voila, here it goes. Yikes. It's ready to have fun. We're going to knead the dough. Okay. Put some flour on the counter. I'm going to move this away since we don't need this anymore. Sorry. It's on the counter. Put some dough on the counter. Okay. I'm going to move it away, so. Okay. I know. Dump it all out. Get all the crumbs. Okay, we're going to knead. Here we go. So we're going to take the top of the dough and pull it to you. Use your palms, push it down. It's very sticky, and you have to keep putting dough on your hands. Flour, I'm sorry, flour. So we're going to keep doing this, quarter turns. This takes about 10 to 12 minutes. You can do it in your mixer. I would do it in 2 portions if you're going to do it that way. So I'm going to do this for a few minutes so you can see. It's very sticky. But you're going to feel the dough change. Definitely changes as you're doing it. Really press hard. Some recipes say to throw it on the counter, but I can't do that. So keep doing it. Okay, we're going to just put it now in a well-oiled bowl. Sorry. Oh, I know. Okay. Well-oiled bowl, and you have the extra oil on your paper towel. You're going to take this, if it was really kneaded well, this isn't, and you make a ball, put it in the bowl, pat it with the extra oil from the paper towel so it doesn't stick onto the plastic bag. Cover it, put this bowl in the plastic bag, okay? And this sits on your counter for 90 minutes. Or you can prepare this the night before you want to use it. Put this at this point right in the refrigerator as is in the plastic bag. In the morning, take it out, put it on your counter for about an hour, and then you can braid it. Or if you have a proof setting on your oven like I do, you can proof it in your oven. Set your oven to the proofing setting. Put a little pan of a cookie sheet on the bottom rack. Put some boiling water in there. I wouldn't use this. We're not going to use this. We're going to use a piece of parchment paper. This bowl can go in the oven. This is what I use. And you set your timer for 25 minutes. So instead of putting this on the counter for 90 minutes, this reduces it to 25 minutes. So that's what I do. So just showing, okay? So, and now you're gonna prepare your egg wash. Here's your egg wash, right here. Okay, 90 minutes have passed. We're gonna get the dough ready to braid. The egg wash is 1 egg plus 1 yolk, also at room temperature, and beat it up a little bit. Okay. Okay, so here's the dough. I'm gonna gently deflate it, get the air out. Okay, we're going to flour your counter really well. Dump it out onto the counter. Okay. Oops. Sorry. Okay, so now we have the dough that we're going to have. This is going to be the challahs, of course. So we're going to divide the dough in half. You can use a knife. You don't need this scraper. And I said we're going to make 4 challahs because these are going to be really huge. It's approximately. And we're going to cut them in half again. So we have 4 portions. Well floured counter. Okay. Flour everywhere. Okay, so here's our cookie sheet. These are 20 by 14 lined with parchment paper. There's 2 of them. So we're going to make 4 challahs, right? So we're going to take this part and we're going to divide it in 3 by just eyeball it. I would measure it on a scale, but we're not going to do that today. Okay, so we have 3 equal parts. They're going to be, let me move these that way so you can see. Is that better? Let's see. Okay, so here we go, rolling them. Nice. Maybe try to get the ends a little narrower, but if you can't, it's fine. Okay, 1. They're about 12 inches long. Not entirely perfect, because we said before they're not going to be perfect. Most of the time, my 4 challahs do not look totally different. So, more flour. Two, 3. Oh, I guess there's flour under here. It's a little bit hard. Okay, and we're going to braid. We're going to braid just like you're braiding somebody's hair. I'm right-handed. Pull it over. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to take the right braid, right tube here, pull it over the middle, the second one over that first one, and we're going to braid. Keep braiding. Okay, gather everything together, put it underneath. We're going to turn this around, and we're going to do the same thing here. Gather it all together. Like that. Okay, there you go. You can already see that it's going to look good. Okay, so now we're going to continue this with the 4. I'm only going to show you 2, but I'm going to show you how you can add something. I have raisins. Some people add things. I've done fig and walnut. I've done dried cherries, raisins, whatever. So I'm going to show you how to do. So we're going to cut this in 3 again, like we did. This is a little too small. Let's stick this here. Okay, so we're going to make the tubes or whatever you want to call them. I think there's flour underneath here. It's a little hard, but okay. So then we're going to make an indentation with your fingers as best as you can. These raisins are really soft. If they were really maybe a little bit drier, I would have soaked them and really squeezed them out. Okay. Let's make sure you can see. I hope everybody can see. Okay, then going to put this together. It's a little tricky, but you can do it. Oops. Okay, we're going to try to put the seam side down. So that's one. Make an indentation with your fingers. Clean hands, of course, without a doubt. You can also use chocolate chips. Whatever you want, you can put in there. Okay, grab it together and, oops, put it here. Okay, one more. Sorry, this is a little bit tricky. Okay, and then raisins in. Okay, seam side down. Okay, so this one might be a little trickier because you have the raisins in the middle. So I'm going to gently pick it up and over the sides, braid it, as you can see. Same way. Same thing. Turn it over. Oops, sneaking out. Stick it back in. Okay, there you go. Okay, whoops. All right, so you continue with the other two more. Okay, show you what they look like. I hope you can, whoops, yikes. This is what they look like. Now we're gonna do the egg wash. Consider your other ones are done, they're all together. We're going to brush with the egg wash, which is 1 egg and 1 yolk. Room temperature, slightly beaten. Actually, I would write here raisin, so I know which one is raisin. But I haven't done that. You can use a paper towel if you don't have a pastry brush. Okay. Oops. Okay. So now, if you want to sprinkle toppings on, this is the time. These are poppy seeds. Sprinkling it on. Actually, this isn't open. Yikes. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. Sprinkle it on. Ready to roll. Well, not exactly. It's going to sit on the counter for about 60 minutes. If you see they're getting their getting really big, you can take extra parchment paper, put it under the sides, under the parchment paper you already have, so that when you bakes, it doesn't stick to the side of the cookie sheet. Okay, so you're gonna let them rise for another hour. Meanwhile, you're gonna preheat your oven to 350. My oven cooks at 350, every oven is different. You're gonna bake it for 30 minutes. I have a window so I can see what's going on. I try not to open the oven too much because you lower the temperature, but if you see it's getting really browned, I would cover it lightly with aluminum foil and continue baking for half an hour. Then you can take it out of the oven when it's finished, which we have here. Sorry, yikes, yikes, yikes. Okay, here's 2 of the challahs. They smell amazing. This is sesame, this is plain. You can see these are not perfect, but they're just wonderful. I'm telling you, everybody's gonna love it. It's delicious, and I hope you enjoy doing it. Now I'll show you, I take some saran wrap when they're very cool, not a little bit cool, cool all the way. And this is, I freeze it. Whoops, this is a little tricky. I wrap this up like 3 times in saran wrap. Really, really wrap them up well. And then I put these 2, I would put these 2 in a jumbo baggie. I put a tag on there. It says the date, so I know what I have when I have it. And you can, I'm telling you, freeze them for a month. They're fine. When you want to use them, take them out of the freezer in the morning, unwrap them, put them on the counter, and you're ready to go for Shabbos. So I hope you enjoyed. Now we can take a few questions, and if I can't answer all the questions, you can email Sal. He'll give me the questions. You can email him at president@jnf.org. He will forward them to me, and I'm ready to take questions.
So hi, everybody. We're going to be unmuting you right now. And I know that there are a lot of different questions about the recipes. And I know that there's a lot of you who are trying to follow along. So I just want you to know that as we explain, because of the length of time that it obviously takes to bake a challah, we could not show you from beginning to end because we'd be here for many hours together. Not that that's not a bad idea maybe, but we couldn't do it this time. So please be patient. We are going to be sending you the recipes as I asked on Chatter. For those of you who didn't see the Chatter, please send me an email with your full contact information so that we can enter you and then we can send out the recipes. My email is sjoy@jnf.org. That's SJOY@jnf.org, and we'll get them to you. And now, Gary, if you can unmute everybody, and one by one, we'd be happy to answer. Lauren would be happy to answer some questions. Saul would be delighted to answer some questions as well. And thank you all for being here. We hope you had as much fun as we did. And Gary, if you can unmute us, that would be great.
Okay, we're not unmuting all the lines. There'd be way too much noise, but if people have a question, they can unmute themselves and ask one by one. Elise, you're up.
Oh,
No?
I don't, actually, I was going to ask if there was a differential between a convection oven and a regular oven, and does one work better than the other?
Okay, I am not a trained chef. I don't know. I have a convention setting and my ovens, but I have never used it, so I can't answer that question.
All right.
Gail Kushner, you have a question?
Yes. Hi, Lauren. Thank you so much for this tutorial. Hi.
Hi, Gail.
Hi. I want to know from start to finish, how long does this take? Because I know like you had like 90 minutes here and, you know, different.
Okay.
What do you
Start
think?
to finish without proofing in the oven and not putting it in the refrigerator, it's about 3.5 hours. But of course, you don't have to stand here and watch it. You can, I go exercise, I come back, whatever. So it is a long process, I have to admit that. But it's like having a baby, without the pain. It takes a long time, but you get something amazing. So
Thank you.
Belle, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, go
Yes.
ahead.
Okay. I lost you at the braiding. I saw the first braiding, and then you turned the pan around, and then what did you braid? It was already braided.
Okay, when I started at the top, there were 3 different pieces. So I turned the cookie sheet around so that I could take those 3 top pieces and stick them underneath so that both ends look the same.
Huh.
Okay. Marilyn, you have a question, Marilyn?
Yes. How do you keep the challah from splitting when it's baking?
Sometimes that happens. I don't know what that is. When you make bread, it depends on the humidity, the altitude where you are, the temperature in the room. I really don't know. Sometimes that happens to me, not very often. Maybe you're not letting it rise enough, or that's the only thing I can say. But that does happen. It still looks beautiful. It looks amazing. And it tastes even better.
Okay, thank you.
Lauren, I want everybody to know, this is Batsheva Feldman, that Lauren is the best challah maker on the face of the earth. I want to remind you, Lauren, when my son met his future in-laws, you made these 2 incredible, they were divine, 2 big chalot, and that brought luck, and they got married after. Now my question is, I don't understand, how do you interact the raisins inside the challah? I don't understand. You don't mix them together?
I roll out the 3 sort of tubes, and I make an indentation with my fingers, and I put the raisins in there, and then I take the top and pull it over so that the raisins are in the middle of the tube. And then when I'm putting it on the cookie sheet, I put the seam side down, and that's how I braid it. It's a little tricky. You just have to take your time, and it'll come out great.
So you can't mix the raisins ahead of time with the dough?
I don't.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of challah recipes online and cookbooks, whatever, but this is how I do it, and it comes out fine. Really comes out fine. I'm sure you can mix it in at some point, but I don't know when to do that.
Lauren, this is Cheryl. Your recipe is phenomenal. So I think everybody needs to stay with the wonderful recipe you shared. As far as convection, it cooks faster, but what you're telling us, and I think everybody needs to understand, go with the straight oven, and what degrees are you recommending? You didn't say.
I said my oven, I bake at 350. But every oven is different. I have 2 ovens, and I constantly using a temperature to make sure that they're cooking the way they say they do. Because they can need to be calibrated once in a while.
Right.
So
or
I do watch.
Right, but your recipe is what's the core, and your braiding is incredible. And so I would tell everybody to stay with the standard oven. Try to go with 350. Go with her recipe because it's absolutely gorgeous, and I wish I could braid like you. I could cook, but not braid like you. So
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you,
so
Cheryl.
much for doing the demo.
See that?
And I look forward to trying it.
Not letting me talk.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Sarah,
in order to try to keep
Show that you're going to talk.
the timing in place that we promised, because people do have some other commitments. I do want to say one other thing before we sign off, and that is this is a special FedEx box. Can everybody see my special FedEx box?
Yes.
In this special FedEx box, it fits perfectly. This is a challah FedEx box, and it fits perfectly for challahs to be shipped. So don't go away. I'll be right back.
This is the best part.
Does anyone know what to do with high altitude?
I don't know. We're here in San Diego. Where we are, we're about 3 miles from the ocean. So we're at sea level. I would try it. You can, this is an experiment, so you can experiment.
Okay, so here are 2 freshly made challahs by Lauren. Lauren has 2 task forces that she belongs to that she's very passionate about.
Yes,
One
I
is the
am.
Gaza envelope, and the other is the Culinary Institute in the north. And what we're going to do today is we're going to auction off these 2 challahs to the highest bidder, and you'll have them at your house tomorrow morning by FedEx, so you can have them for Shabbat. These are Lauren originals, and this might be the only time that you can make a tax-deductible donation and end up with a challah. So we're going to auction these off, and the money will go to the 2 task forces that Lauren's so passionate about. And I'm going to ask Gary to help me logistically in this auction process, or Sharon. So there's 2 challahs, and I'm ready to take the first auction, the first person that wants to bid on this challah.
Okay, so if we understand correctly, Sal, we're going to auction not 2 challahs to one bidder, but actually 1 challah.
Right, we're going to take the top 2 bidders.
Right. Okay. You can put it in the chat, or you can unmute. We already have a $20 bid.
I'll bid 50.
Be positive.
All right, we have 50. Let's go up to 75.
We have $100 from Jordan Friedman.
Okay, so that's $100.
Yes.
And it's going to great task forces.
My children aren't coming for Shabbat.
They'll be coming, they'll be at your house in the morning, and when you get them, we want you to open them up, take a picture, and place it on Facebook so everybody can see that you got an original Lauren challah made with love. So we have $100. Who's next?
Top 2
Can you
bidders.
send them?
Alyssa
Can you
with
send them?
6.
We're up to 136.
Yeah.
236.
136.
136. All right. Well, we're going to keep moving that up. So we have who wants to do 150? Let's do 150.
Can you send it to different addresses? One to each address?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Each one is separate. You're bidding on 1 challah. You're bidding on 1 challah. The 2 highest bidders will each get a challah delivered by FedEx. You'll have it at your house tomorrow morning. It'll be priority overnight. Usually that means by 10 a.m. So you'll have it. It'll be perfect for Shabbat tomorrow. So
what if I donated 100 each challah? Is that too low?
Well, actually, I'm going to tell you we have another special for you. We have a special that you may not have ever heard of. It's a special. If anybody that's watching decides to become a World Chairman Council, that's $1 million. If
Do we
you
get the
decide
house?
to become a World Chairman Council, you get a challah every Friday for a year by FedEx.
Oh, that's so cute.
So we're still going for these 2 challahs, but keep in mind, if you do want to become a World Chairman member, you'll get one every Friday by FedEx. So
okay, I will do
$150.
150. I will do 150 for 1 challah.
Okay, we have 150. I think that was Bathsheba.
Yes.
You know why she said 150? Because she's tasted them.
Exactly.
We also have 150 from Gail Kushner, and we have 150 from Jordan Friedman. So now we have 3 at 150.
All right, so we got to go to 175, and we'll look, this goes to a good cause. They're great task forces. They need your help now, both task forces, the Gaza envelope and also the Culinary Institute. As we build that, they're both great task forces. So I have 2 challahs here. Let's see, what's our highest bid right now?
Okay, 180. I will do 180.
180. That Batsheva, she can taste this. She knows what it tastes like. She's tasted them.
I'll
Okay,
do
we got
200.
180.
I'll do 200.
Okay, Toby, you got 200. Now, will you share it with Mort? That's the question. If you get the
Sure,
challah, will you
sure.
cut it in half and give Mort half?
No, I'll cut it 3/4 and I'll
Okay, all right. So we have 200 as our high bid right now. Do we have 218? Let's go 218. We have 200. Listen, it cost me about $200 for this equipment, so we got to get at least the cost back of this. Okay, we have 200.
225.
225. So we have 200 and 225. And I think I'm going to close this out before I get to the world chairman, because I know that we're going to have a lot of people.
How about $300?
Wow.
We got $300. Okay, we have 300 and 225. 300, 300, 300. Let's go. 300. Who's next?
3
3.25. All right, 3.25 and 300. Those are two winners right now. 3.25. Okay, Mort, you're closing your eyes. Don't worry about it. She'll share it with you, I see. Don't worry, Mort.
It's only a challah.
It's only a challah. Okay, anybody else? 300, 300, 300. Anybody wants to go to 360?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay, you got 360, 360.
Yay.
All right, 360 and 300.
Go Mark.
360,
325
going.
and 325.
Say it again.
We have 360 and 325. as our
Okay, 360 and 325. Sharon, thank you. Okay, 360. 360 going once.
Huh?
360 going twice. How about the 325 comes up to 360? Well, you'll each get a challah and we'll call it the day.
She's saying yes. Toby is saying yes.
Okay, so each one is for 360. We have one challah left for a major commitment, world chairman. So anybody,
Sapphire circles.
excuse me?
Circle of sapphire. What do you do for that?
Circle of Sapphire, let's
How about the double
first see
circles?
world chairman. World chairman. If anybody has the desire to become a world chairman, you get a challah every Friday.
But we
Now,
still have to
Circle of
pay,
Sapphire.
right?
If this is a Circle of Sapphire that is not currently a Circle of Sapphire, but you're going to bring it up to become a Circle of Sapphire, then we're
Once a
going.
month.
You get one once a month, Lauren said. Okay, a Circle of Sapphire. If you join to become a Circle of Sapphire, once a month you get one of Lauren's.
And you could tell us the week.
You can. Oh boy.
That's very generous.
Making
That's
a lot of
lovely.
trips to FedEx.
That's terrific.
Okay, so any Circle of Sapphires? Well, somebody asked the question.
You can
I'm
let us
already
know,
a
too.
circle. I'm already a circle.
Okay, anybody that is interested in just joining as a Circle of Sapphire, we're happy to make this a special.
Double circle.
So, if you're a Circle of Sapphire and you become a double Circle of Sapphire, then we can talk.
Okay.
What is the circle of sapphire?
100,000.
That's a year, right?
No,
For you, yes.
Yes. Yes.
it's
No,
a
no,
$100,000
Mark will
commitment to
do
be a
it.
Circle of
Mark will do
Sapphire,
it for you and
being a
Born.
very
Yeah,
exclusive group.
I got it. Well,
And the market is up today, so you can be a little bit more liberal. Okay, anybody else for the auction? Otherwise, we're going to close out this show.
And can I give one commercial, Saul?
Yes.
We're making arrangements. We're going to have Lior do a cooking class next week at 6 o'clock Eastern. Details to be posted.
Oh, I
Okay.
wish I could come, but of course we can't fly.
So these will
No,
be
you
FedEx
can
this
do it at home.
afternoon.
Lior,
What you'll need to do is, if you could email your address to either me, which is president@jnf.org, or Sharon at sjoy, Sharon Joy, sjoy@jnf.org. As long as you get it to us kind of quickly so I can make the FedEx drop off, the box will be there. Don't forget, when you open the box, take a picture so we can promote it on Facebook. And thank you for supporting the JNF, all of our partners. You know, we don't call you donors. Other organizations call you donors. We call you partners because you're partnering in building the land and helping the people of Israel. So with that, I think we'll close it out. Gary, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Send in your questions
Thank
if you have any
Thank
questions.
Thanks. Thank
That
you.
was
thank
great.
you.
It was
Thank
fantastic.
you.
Thank you.
Happy
quarantine.
Thank you all
Thank
very,
you. Everybody stay healthy.
I smell it over
very,
here.
very much.
Stay
Watch for
healthy,
additional
everyone.
shows. Additional
Thank
shows
you.
posted
All right,
at
thank you
JNF.
very much.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Watch for additional shows posted on jnf.org/on-demand.